What's up, y'all? So I decided I was gonna go ahead on and do a video on something real controversial. I shouldn't say that, it's not that controversial, but it's controversial enough. Let me step over here. I'm gonna step over into my neighbor's driveway, y'all. If I can make it through there. If I can make it through. I got on sandals, y'all. I ain't got boots on, so I got to watch it. And it's steep over here. Alright. I done made it through now. Okay. Let me get this here first. So what I'm doing today, y'all, is I'm gonna pick me some poke and I'm gonna talk to y'all about it. I do probably one of these once every so often. I don't do a lot of poke videos. The ones I do get good views though, real good views actually. Y'all see how poke grow? It'll put out new shoots right there, so get the old big leaves, and that way you can harvest off of it 3 or 4 or 5 times. See all those? So you can get a bunch of leaves. Now let me say this, you can go a lot of different places online. Uh-oh, I done broke that whole thing off. And I'm gonna talk to y'all about that stem too, but I'm just gonna take that whole top. It'll grow back. It ain't gonna kill the plant. You can't hardly kill this stuff. It's basically a weed. Who the fuck whistling at me? Oh no, that's them. Boy, they had these old calls and things. Ain't nobody got time. But anyway, y'all, that poke, if y'all noticed, the bottom of the stem was getting pink. And I can show you another example, because I'm going to show y'all all what I'm going to pick. This is another good sized poke plant. What did I have in there that turned that red like that? Probably those purple collards. So I'm just going to snap off these big leaves. Now, poke is one of the first things to come up in the spring. If you don't know about it or unfamiliar with it, I'm gonna tell you to be cautious when you Google, because what you're going to find is a whole lot of people talking about how it's poisonous, how it's gonna kill you, and all this kind of stuff. Let me explain something to you. Now I'm gonna give y'all a little history lesson, because I think sometimes people lose touch with their roots. Anybody that get offended, well, I done broke the top out of that. Anybody that get offended, hit dog holler. You know who I'm talking to. If you feel offended, it's probably because you got some of whatever I'm talking about in you. Just saying, look at how pretty this. Look at that patch, boy. This stuff is pretty to me. And let me say this here. I grew this one time in the front yard and I let it get real big. And when I tell you everybody and their dog was stopping, because this whole stem will turn red. And then it'll get red seed pods at the top. People was just, you know, they was, what is that? What is that? Everybody was stopping. What is that? And it gets so big. But I will say this, grow it someplace where you don't mind it growing, because the roots, it gets a huge taproot. Huge. When I finally pulled that up, it was like the biggest parsnip I had ever seen in my life. And I could barely get it up. I had to dig around that sucker just to get it up. But back to what I was saying. I caution you. I'm not saying don't look it up. But what I'm saying is understand we live in the information age. And a lot of this stuff is information overload. And then let me also say this. Depending on what kind of school system you were in. This is a nice plant that, oh man, that whole stem. And then what took the top off? Oh, I'm so sick of stuff. I had another poke plant just destroyed, and I don't even know what destroyed it. But anyway, the roots ain't gone. They will come back, but it's just, it pisses you off. Because people don't understand this be your medicine right here. Now, if y'all didn't see my community post, by the way, where it's a 102-year-old lady, and she had mentioned that she had been washing a whole mess of poke salad or whatever that day, and she was just sitting on the porch watching the cars go by. She reminded me of my great-grandmother. My great-grandmother was that way. She'd get through doing a whole bunch of something and cooking and whatever, and when she get through, she'd go on the porch and watch the cars go by. Simple things for simple people. I'm that way. Me and my neighbor sit on the porch and watch the cars go by too. And but anyhow, when you go on the internet, y'all forgive me, I'm all over the place, but this how I am. I got a mind problem. When you go on the, and I done tore the top out of that one. Like I told y'all, these poke plants, I done tore the top out of that. This stuff is real tender. These plants are really fairly young. Poke can get, my granny's poke used to get 10 feet tall, and the stems would get over an inch thick, and it would have thousands upon thousands of berries. Now, if you don't want to eat the poke, I will say this: if you want to invite birds to your garden, leave the poke and let these things go to seeds. The birds love seeds. They will sit atop there and eat the seeds, and you would say, why would I invite birds to my garden? So you can cut back on having to spray. If you got birds in your garden, that's about the bed done broke. If you got birds in your garden, those birds, oh, I see a plant over here. I just got it coming up all over. Those birds will eat pests and things, you understand? So you want to invite them to your garden so that they can help you, because they like bugs and worms and things of that nature. But anyway, when you go on the internet and research this here, you're gonna find a whole bunch of people, and what they're gonna tell you is this here is poisonous, and they're gonna tell you to don't use it. They're gonna tell you it's gonna kill you. They're gonna tell you everything up under the sun, everything except for the health benefits. They're not gonna tell you the health benefits. Now, let me say this here, peoples. Y'all wonder why I'm walking backwards and forwards. I'm finna get me a spot and wash them. I want y'all to see, because I'm gonna take y'all all the way from harvest to cook. Y'all told y'all that you know how to do that, cook, clean, cook, catch, clean, whatever, the fishermen and stuff. Well, I'm gonna do something similar, but I'm gonna do harvest, clean, cook. That's what I'm gonna do. So try to give y'all this content. By the way, let me say this: thank you so much to everybody who's been subscribing. My subscriptions have gone up really fast the last couple of weeks. That's number one. Number two, those who have subscribed, thank you for watching so much of the video. Y'all don't know how much I appreciate that. It's really not about how many subscribers you get. It's really not about how many comments. YouTube can tell you them lies and tell you all this foolishness. It's not about none of that. What it's about mainly is watch time. The more time that you watch, the more ads you see, the more revenue YouTube makes. Now, they don't give me hardly none of that revenue. But really, that's what pushes my channel out there, is, you know, y'all actually taking the time and not just watching 3 seconds and then clicking off, okay? So I just want to let y'all know I do appreciate, I do wholeheartedly appreciate that, okay? So y'all just bear with me. I'm getting the hose and I'm getting the stuff together so I can wash. I got to wash that pan out first. I'm probably gonna pause the video for that. Wash that pan out real good. Then I can use that as my wash pan. I got to get me a chair for me to sit in where I can be comfortable. I ain't gonna sit on no bucket today, cause I had it round mark around my ass, and I can't do it. You know, after time bucket away until you're sitting in it. But back to what I was telling y'all. Some of the pork I had over there destroyed. It's crazy because I need for, especially if you are in America, I need for you to understand what kind of country we live in, to where this is really a sick care system. It's not a health care system, it's a sick care system. It's pharmaceutical companies get as much money as they possibly can get. Those are some of the richest countries in the nation. If you think I'm lying, companies in the nation, if you think I'm lying, look it up. They will often treat you with things that are known to give you more ailments and more diseases after you use them. So that being said, the pharmaceutical company knows what to pattern those medicines after, but because they're synthetic and man-made, a lot of times they have a lot of side effects that you don't want. So the pharmaceutical companies, if they pattern their medications after herbs and plants and things, then they go and tell you, yeah, don't use that out in nature. Come buy this pharmaceutical from me. And in the meantime, when you use this, it's going to give you all these other side effects. But don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't really make any sense. I'm going to pause here, wash this pan, and then I'm going to come back. All right, y'all, let me get this trap on. Let me get it set up. All right. My pan is nice and clean now. You may see some spots in there, but I promise you, it's clean. This is an old pan. I've been had this pan a long time. It's a steamer tray thing. I don't even know where I got it from, to be honest with you. I'm gonna put a little water in here. Actually, I'm gonna turn this on. But I'm gonna turn it on to where the stream ain't so. All right. And I'm just gonna go through and wash. Can y'all see? Y'all can't really see how I need you to see. I need you to be able to see. Okay, so back to what I was saying. These are, I think that's enough water actually. And I'm washing over here by my bananas. Don't think this water gonna go to waste. This water is not going to go to waste. I'm going to use this water. I mean, I'm gonna take it and pour it over my elephant ears and my bananas, okay? And this poke really ain't that dirty, but I'm, of course, still go through and wash your stuff, cause birds do poop and crap while they pee and crap while they fly. So, and birds flies everywhere. So I don't recommend you just eat stuff out of your garden sometime, even though I know y'all see me doing it, but I ain't telling you to do that. I'm just saying I'm stupid enough to do that. But anyhow, so yeah, these companies don't want you to be well. They really just want you to buy their product. That's what comes with capitalistic society. It is what it is. You know, they make on like it's the best society. Not really. Not when these companies go from being somewhat moral to being completely and totally immoral. And money becomes the only thing that CEOs, shareholders, investors care about. And they even if they're ripping the person off, they don't care. You know, they just simply don't care. Let me say this about poke. You can't cook that stem. It's some people I've heard say they batter and fry the stem. I've never done that because I really don't know how, but they say as long as it's green, it's okay to do like that. I don't have no people that have done that around me and lived and been successful and still breathing. I don't know anybody that's died from doing it. I'm just saying. A lot of the stuff that I do, if I don't know somebody or trust somebody to tell me and show me how to do, I'm not gonna fool with it. So anyway, so thus the reason why you see so much about poke being toxic. Another reason why you see so much about poke being toxic, unfortunately, there aren't a lot of scientific studies. Like for instance, if you look up goldenrod, there's a lot of scientific studies on goldenrod. There's a lot of scientific studies on dandelion. There's a lot of scientific studies on lots of different herbs, rosemary, oregano, thyme. When you have these studies, a lot of scientific studies behind them, it's easier to find more information that's not as biased. But I also think people know that inflammation is one of the must have been a bug on one of these leaves. Trying to get him out of there. Come here. Get in my hand, man. Okay, he was dead, but anyway, I want him out of that water because I don't want him to wash up on another leaf, which I'm gonna wash these probably 2 or 3 times. I didn't want him to wash up on another leaf and stay. But anyway, so you get all these people who they want to tell you it's poisonous because inflammation is a huge problem in this nation, and inflammation is one of the main types of medicines that people are taking. Whether it's from, let me tell y'all this, anything with itis on the end of it, that means inflammation. For instance, arthritis means joint inflammation. Bronchitis means lung inflammation, or bronchial tube inflammation, either one, but it's lungs. Inflammation of the lungs. Dermatitis means skin inflammation. You get what I'm saying? So different inflammatory medicines are the main, are the most, I think they probably make more of those than they make any other. They probably make more inflammation medications than they make pain medications, which inflammation can cause pain as well. But anyway, poke is primarily for inflammation. Now, this stuff grows as a weed all over North America. Does not matter where you are, city, town, country, whatever, you can find it somewhere. But I will say this, if you don't know what you're looking for, you probably can't identify it. I'm a firm believer in learning plant identification, partly because I'm kind of a forager. I don't forage a lot, but when I go in the woods, or wherever I'm going, because you can urban forage as well, I want to know what I'm looking at. I want to be able to identify it. That in botany class was actually my favorite part of botany class, which was plant identification and really learning how to get plant identification down. So now, that being said, this grows all over America, and if you could get this for free instead of taking arthritis medication, you know, just any kind of inflammatory medication, you think pharmaceutical companies like that? Nope. And let me be all the way clear with you. In America, we live in a country where, you may not like to hear this, but it's the truth. It's been proven several times. The FDA is often, pharmaceutical companies give the FDA money. Quite frankly, that should be illegal. That's a conflict of interest, because the FDA should be working for the people. It should not be getting money from pharmaceutical companies. But when it gets money from pharmaceutical companies, what do you think it does? It will start to bias and sometimes even put out information that is against the betterment of the people in favor of the pharmaceutical companies. That's why we have a lot of things legislatively that really need to be fixed. And I think a lot of people are figuring it out now, when, you know, it's about 200 years too late. But anyway, I'm a firm believer in some of those articles are made to just purposely scare and dissuade people away from this medicinal plant. And because there's not a whole lot of scientific research to back it up, that makes it worse. Because understand, when you go on the information, you have to know how to look for information. You can't just blindly read anything. Me being a scientist by you know, education, schooling, whatever you want to call it, I'm a source junkie. If your sources are not credible and your sources are trash, I will trash your whole article. You can have 4 good sources and you got 2 trash ones, I'll trash the whole article. You just tainted your credibility. In the science world, if you're going to source something, you always want to source good sources. You don't want to source trash sources. And unfortunately, that part of science is not something that you learn until you get to college. Usually, you're definitely not going to learn it in public school. I can tell you that right now. But when you're trained to research, you're trained how to look for good sources. You're trained how to look at a scientific paper. You're actually trained to critique it and pick it the hell apart. And if you can pick it apart too much, the scientists didn't do a good job. Keep in mind, all scientists are not created equal. They're just like anything else in life. You will find good scientists and you will find trash scientists. So that being said, I understand why people have the fear that they have. But let me say this. If in your mind you say, oh yeah, that's that stuff, you know, my grandmama, my auntie, my mama, whoever used to eat back in the day. Ask yourself, how long did they live? Ask yourself, how healthy were they? Now, in my case, my granny ate this. My great-grandmother ate it. Most of the people in my family ate it up until the baby boomer generation. I'm not trying to be funny. The baby boomer generation, to me, they have something to offer, but to be quite frank, they the ones that got away from a lot of the roots and things, and then they come and teach children, and they teach them, I don't know what they teach them, because they don't teach them to believe in their ancestors and do what their ancestors do for the most part. And it's just sad, because I see so many baby boomers. I'm like, your mother ate it and she lived to be how long? Oh, she lived to be 105. Was she relatively healthy? Oh yeah, she died of natural causes. So you really think Poke killing people? But you telling me you see what I'm saying? Some stuff you have to use evidence-based theories. You know what I mean? And I know what y'all gonna say. Oh yeah, but they was eating lard and stuff. Okay, yeah, but that's different. They also weren't living a sedentary lifestyle either. Most people today eat a sedentary lifestyle. I believe I could eat like my great-grandma made and be fine, but I farm like her too. You see what I'm saying? And I work. Now my job is sedentary. It don't require no physical nothing. But you see what I'm saying though? I'm so active to where, because a lot of this comes from, no, you can't eat lard and you sit on your butt all day, you're not gonna burn off anything. Lard is very high calorie. But if you're like my grandfather and great-grandfather and great-grandmother and granny and stuff, baby, they didn't sit down long. Them people didn't sit down long. When you had to wash clothes by hand, you had to, everything was harder. You didn't have Roombas and stuff that vacuum the room for you. You didn't even really have vacuums. You had to sweep. When you had to get on your hands and knees and clean the baseballs and wash walls and see, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all got to pay attention. Y'all wonder why I keep sharing some of this old school stuff with y'all. It wasn't broke, but unfortunately, not trying to be funny, the baby boomers tried to fix it. It wasn't broken. It wasn't broken. It was not broken, and the baby boomers tried to fix it. And I'm going to be honest and say, you know, a lot of this stuff also comes from society. You know, society tells you to have an Alexa to sit in your house and listen to your conversations and all this kind of stuff. Society tells you to have a little robot to clean your home because, oh, now we so busy that we don't even want to clean our home. And I know people be busy. But I'm good. All that little technology mess they make, that mess will raise up in the middle of the night and be up in the bed with me. I'm good on that. I'm so good on that, y'all. Y'all don't understand how good I am on that. So just think back. Ask some of your family members. Or if it's that you scared of it because you don't know how to cook it, say that. Or if you know somebody who cooked it and maybe they didn't cook it right or didn't do it right and had an adverse reaction, say that. Let us try to be as transparent as we can. That way you can open up dialogue, because I'm going to be honest. I'm gonna tell y'all this story, and I told my friend this the other day. At one point in time, I grew this plant, and I had the plant got huge. The plant got absolutely huge, and it had thousands upon thousands of berries, which have the seeds in them at the top. And when I got to the end of the season, I really was just gonna hack that sucker down and just kind of just go on. You know, I was gonna hack it down. I had ate off of it 3 or 4 or 5 times. You know, I wasn't studying that plant. I had got what I needed out of it. But I didn't. Some say get the seeds off and sell them. I didn't think I was gonna make no money on those seeds, y'all. I didn't think I was gonna make no money. And really, poke is what showed me that seed saving and selling is a damn good hustle. So when I got through, I was selling those seeds, 100 seeds for $10. I actually marked them. I kind of marked them up high where I, you know, really in my head, I said, ain't nobody gonna buy 100 seeds for $10. Or some stuff they can go in the woods and find. I'll have you to know I was absolutely mistaken. Those people bought them seeds like hot cakes. Hot cakes. Now, after I, you know, when the stuff started selling so fast, after a while, I said to myself, I'm gonna start asking these people, you know, where they from or what ethnicity they are, whatever. And I did that. And the vast majority of those people that answered me, do you want to know what ethnicity they were? Y'all just take a guess and see, can you tell me? See, can you tell me what ethnicity they were? The vast majority of those people were white people. When I tell you, so many of them told me, I've been looking for this for 10 or 15 years. And my grandmama used to feed this to me when I was a child, and this, that, and the other. And when they got through telling me, basically it was all the same story. All the old heads raised these people up on this stuff, and now they quit eating it. They got old, now they hurting. Their joints hurting, everything hurting. And they wanted them some more poke. And one woman told me emphatically, she said, now that I have my poke and I've been making it and eating it, I don't have no more joint pain. It's a lady to this day right now come buy seeds from me every year. She buy every seed I got this poke. And I'm telling y'all, y'all can eat those, what they call poke berries. You can eat them. That's the part you make the dye out of. You don't chew them up. You just swallow them. And the only reason I'm telling you this is because I don't know, 15 or 20 old heads that do this. I have even taught them how to find the poke. If I ain't got no seeds, I have taught them how to find it. And they send their grandchildren or their children or whatever and go find it for them and find the berry. You take that berry after it's dried and you just take it and swallow it. You don't even chew it. You just swallow it just like you swallow any other medication or pill. You can take anywhere from 1 to 4 berries. You just take as much as you need. If you take 1 berry for a week or so and your pain don't go away, bump it up to 2 berries. If your pain go away, leave it right there. That's your dosage. If it don't go away, take it up to 3 berries. If your pain go away, stop right there. You see what I'm saying? If your joint pain or whatever pain you're trying to get rid of, or whatever kind of inflammation, if you're trying to, and I'm not gonna say poke gonna fix all your inflammation, but it'll bring a lot of it down. You can also use poke root for your kidneys. I don't know how to do it though. To my understanding, it was Native Americans a lot that did that. And I don't know anybody who can, I've been trying to find somebody to teach me how to do. I know you can make a tincture out of it. There's a woman on YouTube making a tincture out of it. Not trying to be funny though. She look like death walking, so I don't really trust nothing she say. But anyhow, these people are taking that remedy and it's working for them. One man couldn't even hardly straighten up. He had inflammation in between the vertebrae in his back so bad he couldn't even really hardly stand up straight and walk good. He started taking them poke berries. I seen him in the store. I almost didn't recognize him. I said, you walking up straight? Yeah, that poke. I keeps me, I make sure. I shouldn't have never quit eating. The moral of the story is, y'all, don't allow these people to scare you. Please don't allow these people to scare you, because I'm not trying to be funny. Most of the people writing them articles, they white. They probably white. They ain't had no experience with poke. They probably ain't, they don't know, they behind from a hole in the ground. But I'm gonna tell you who do know. The Native Americans and the enslaved knew. They've been using it. The enslaved figured out immediately. That's one thing I will say. Being African, if one thing you can't do, you can learn. If it's one thing you can do, you can learn. You may not can't do nothing else. Africans will learn. They'll learn fast. You know what I'm saying? And when you're talking about the continent that had some of the oldest schools in the world, the first schools in the world, bro, Africans, if they can't do nothing else, they can learn and eat. That's just the two things. You can learn and eat. So when they got here and saw the Native Americans or whatever, and I'm gonna be honest, don't be stupid. Don't think they just picked black folks just arbitrarily. They didn't pick us arbitrarily. When they brought us, guess what? They already knew they were bringing herbalists. They already knew they were bringing masons. They already knew they were bringing blacksmiths. They already knew they were bringing agricultural scientists. They already knew they were bringing everything that they needed to build a nation. I need y'all to get that through y'all heads. Stop doubting who you are, where you come from. And this ain't to dog nobody else, because I can walk and chew gum at the same time. But I'm just giving you a history lesson. It is what it is. History will be history. Now, it'll just depend on who history you want to listen to. But please don't let these people scare you out of using some of these herbal remedies and thinking that first of all, Western medicine was not even designed for black folks. Why do you think black mothers have the highest mortality rate during childbirth and pregnancy? Why do you think that is? Why do you think Western medicine works way less for us than it does for anybody else? It was not created for us. They used it to experiment on us with. It was not created for us, not really. Am I telling you not to go to the doctor? No, that's not what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is pay attention. Because I have firmly said, until health care is ripped all the way back down to the foundations and done over again from jump, it's forever going to be this model that serves primarily one demographic. The rest of the demographics, if you get a little help from it, you know, so be it. But, you know, it really ain't, you know what I'm saying? It's really not designed, and I'm going to be honest, the practitioners of some of this healthcare, they have no business. When you hear these doctors and you tell a doctor that you're in pain and they prescribe you Tylenol, but they give a white girl oxycodone. But see, that's biting them in the ass right now. Right now. See? Then we got an epidemic. We got an epidemic. They taking the oxycontins. Y'all prescribed it. Y'all started that mess. Y'all created that mess, and it's killing your own. I ain't saying it don't kill no black folk, but I'm just saying it's killing more of them than us. The stats prove it. Because they wouldn't even prescribe it to us. They treating us just like in slavery days. Oh, they like horses. They can't feel nothing. So, you know, be careful with all this. Be careful who you get all this information from. Always be cognizant of who is putting out the most information on the internet. It's not black folks. Just saying. We created the binary code to where everything technology could work. But then who slowly started taking over and creating all this crap? It ain't us. You know what I'm saying? To be quite frank, I don't think the internet would have half the crap it got on it if black folks was running it. But I'm just saying. That being said, the poke is washed. Now we're going to move on to the cooking phase, okay? So, till next time. See you guys later.